Super Deformed Kasee Gundam. Hey, what's up again everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs2B's Gundam.TK, and believe me, I could not be more excited that we finally have a Kasee Gundam in Gunpla form. Forget about anything else, including old school medieval. This is going to be as close as it gets to getting a high grade or an MG for quite a while, and with this hefty price tag, let's see what 1500 yen is going to be getting you for a Super Deformed kit. As the empty plates and seals can attest to, this is no slouch. There are definitely high grades that have less color apps and plastic inside. There's a fair bit of detail built in as well, and you can see some interesting weapons, effect parts, and he's going to be coming along with nice clear base and a little buddy there. I'm going to fly through the parts here. As you can see, red seals added on, but you're going to have this nice blue piece here, which when it attaches on, is going to look good on both sides, and this white little wing-a-ling, like Captain America on the foot, is going to help him stand out. Nothing particularly exciting about the waist section, as the only color is going to be that gray in the front. But this chest here is going to be looking massive for a Super Deformed. Red abs underneath, and you're going to have the familiar yellow parts coming forward, and as well you've got some yellow grading down there if you want to get in with your lining. But when you pop on this blue piece here, you're going to have a red seal, and these parts are going to be coming forward, making it look like he's practically supersonic. You can see you've got the old snowman there for the polycap. The shoulders will pop out a little bit. If you try to do too much though, they'll go flying. And you've got these moving parts here. They're not going to give you much more than 90 there, but they do look good, as the lining opportunities that Bandai provided here all look sharp. And how about those famous triangular shoulders? Red seals there, as you can see that if you open it up, you're going to have this part front and back. They're going to be looking good. The beam saber, actually, you can get this up and out of the way, but it does not want to detach. Down below, you've got some nice blue piece, some red seals, which could go on a little bit better. They're not quite long enough to go and wrap down underneath, but you've actually got some perforated edges there, so with your Q-tip, you can get some texture. And the elbows now are going to become that familiar half poly cap. And you've got the white part here as it bends up and down. The forearm grip's looking good. The beam saber here is plain Jane, although it's going to have some texture there, and the beam rifle, nicely done, comically oversized with a big red seal. But the shield is where most of the attention's going to go, if you don't mind putting in the time to decal it all up. First of all, they're going to be giving you lots of little tick marks around there, so go in there with your gray if you want. You can see the grip. And then on the top, you're going to have black seals, yellow, 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 and this nice gray one down below. Would have been nice if they could have actually gone with the plastic from something like the beam rifle, as we do have a plate for it. But nonetheless, this is standing out and looks better than the high-grade build strikes, I'd say. And the funnel missiles here dancing around are actually going to be sort of fun, as you can see both the support and the lightning around. Some good lining options there, front and back. Of course, you'll want this side on display, as opposed to that one, and if you actually painted it up in blue while keeping the funnels up here in white, it would look even better. The mesa is going to be teeny tiny though, as you can see, next to the foot. And in terms of playability, I didn't bother lining this guy, but you can twist the arms and the shield up and down at the same time, and they do give you a gray beam rifle there, and the mono eye is always a nice touch. And some deep lining options here for the Gauss on there, as the deck's going to be looking good, as is the back. You can see the hand grips there, but pretty much, outside of the fact that it attaches to the nice clear base, I don't know how often this is going to get used, except as a mesa stand. The head here is going to be looking fantastic with the lining options there, nice and deep, and if you go and separate the front and the back, as I cheated there, you can see that you can swap the eyes and go cartoony or serious there. It is a little bit tricky to get the front of the face on, but with the V-fin in place, this is absolutely perfect. SDs live and die by their heads, and this one, the sculpt, the eyes, the lining, and the comically oversized V-fin and that jewel, absolutely perfect. And for me, or anybody out there who's played a lot of G Generations, this is one of my favorite go-to suits. Thanks to the funnels, and of course I love Penelope even more, especially Amuro, enraged, but look at this. For an SD kit, it's well worth the 1500. The details like the blue parts showing through there. Look at the white on the blue, on the white, on the gray down there for the feet, the thrusters and the lining, and that comically oversized head V-fin, and all the details that they packed into the chest. This guy was well worth the wait and just makes me want him in bigger grades all the more. And souped up with the beam rifle there, which is appropriate in size, especially compared to something old school like the X1 or the X2, but it's that comically oversized shield as well that if you twist it forward adds even more eye-popping color. For size comparison, the Mesa is all wrong for this new high-quality SD line, but at the same time he looks just about perfect if you want to go compare him to the old Char's Counterattack SD kits. And I'm very glad that the Victory 1 Gundam in high-grade Universal Century doesn't have to be embarrassed about his height. Unless you account for those V-fins there, at least the SD Cassie is going to be slightly shorter than him. And for old SD fun, well, the X1 and X2 should be a lot shorter than the Cassie and a lot less filled out. And actually, in terms of SD, they don't look bad beside each other. And I'd say the same thing here with Amuro's RX-78 too. I'm really glad that they did not keep the Cassie down to the same size, but instead kept him in scale as the monster he should be. Happy to pay for it. But for some of the most modern SDs, you can see that actually he's going to be very similar in height. It's just those big shoulders that help push him over the top. For posing with the emphasis on size, really there's not going to be all that much articulation you see with the simple hips and the arms. He's having a little bit of weight troubles there with his left shoulder and the weight of that shield and beam rifle down. This is actually looking pretty impressive and makes me want to go play him in Gundam vs. Gundam. And for other display purposes, well, the old Lifecraft down there in the Mesa, not looking particularly inspiring. I don't think I'll ever put that out on display anymore. But again, just having him up in the air there, the Beam Saber, a little bit of pink on that would really help it. And those funnel missiles are actually a lot more fun than I expected in terms of the visual impact they provide. And if you want to go flight mode, well, it's going to be these straight up in the back, this forward in the front, and then open up those triangles and make them flat. Well, he definitely looks a lot longer there, and it's great that they include those blue and red details on the inside of the shoulders. It shows off more of the forearms, but the triangles may be coming up just a little bit too close to the head, but nonetheless, with the help of the base, he does look like he's flying. There are going to be some negatives about the kit from this and this, whether it's really necessary or not. There's also going to be a lot of lining required. Some of the parts here, if this was actually done up in separate white to go along with the blue, they could have actually done the effect parts for you, and you are going to have to put up with a lot of seals on things like the shield. But outside of the fact, the big complaint for me right now is just that the head and the shoulders are definitely going to be coming across as a little bit loose. But on the other hand, with a little bit of effort, there's so many positives to be had. The lining, they're going to give you all the channels that you need, and the seals, every single one of them is going to be adding to the overall design. Bottom to top, the legs have tons of colors there in short order. The chest is going to move well, and the arms and the shoulders, they're going to do a good job. You can rotate the triangles around individually. The head, you can swap the eyes out, and most importantly, does it capture the power of the novel? Or what we've seen in G Generations? I'd say yes. This is the best representation we may have for the Cassie Gundam in a long time. Worth every penny, I'd say, for the 1,500 yen, with the bonuses of the little things. Hey, they never hurt. And some of the display options are actually a lot of fun. And getting this guy up in the air, well, him new, Hainu Sazabi. All we need now is Penelope and a few other guys to have a full UC party. Anyway, please let me know what you think of this kit in the review, and stick around for lots more news, reviews, and everything else you can use. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope to see you back here someday for a high grade. Man, I can't believe you made it to the big time. I may have to wait for the PS4 for Gundam vs. Gundam. And odds on, who's faster for MG, do you think?